we got just a few announcements before we get started. First of all, remember to mark your checks today payable to the Belmont United Methodist Church Food Pantry. It is the 5th Sunday mission offering, and that is who we're supporting this month. So take care of that if you've not done so already. Also, you'll notice a new face up here in the pulpit today, and we want to officially welcome Brother Mark and his wife Carol Ann here to Belmont. We are excited to have you both here, and so welcome. And as part of this welcome, we are having a full day of things going on today. After church this morning, the youth will be traveling over to Florence to Jump for Jesus at Sky Zone. So we hope they have a good time, and then the entire church is invited to come back at 5 o'clock. We will have hamburgers and hot dogs and games and music. So please come back for that, and if you're able, bring some side dishes, some drinks, desserts, just things that go along with hamburgers and hot dogs. And those will already be prepared and provided for us. Remember, there will be no Club 50 in the month of July. Also, our revival with Brother Tim Green coming will be, and make sure this date is correct, the 20th through the 24th. That is correct. I knew there was a mistake in there last week. So it is July 20th through the 24th. Please be in prayer for Brother Tim as he prepares to come and be with us during our revival. Are there other announcements that need to be made at this time? Okay, there are calendars for July in the foyer, so you can keep up with what's going on in our church. So if you have not picked one up, we invite you to get one at this time. Anything else? Well, we welcome you. If you're visiting with us, we extend a special welcome to you. Glad to have you. If there are no other announcements at this time, we'll go ahead with our prayer.
Signed an appointment letter that caused me to be pastor of Belmont United Methodist Church. But what's more important is over the coming days, weeks, months, and years, I'll become your pastor. The stroke of a pen from a bishop does not replace being with you in a hospital room. It doesn't replace being with you on a ball field when your children play ball. It doesn't replace sermons and tears and joys of laughter that we'll share together over the coming years. That's how you become a pastor. And I look forward to that process of becoming your pastor. Carol Ann and I want to involve ourselves in the community. And we want to ask you that from time to time as you go out and do things, give us a call. Ladies, if you go walking around the track, give Carol Ann a call. Go walking with you. Bible studies, give her a call. Let us be involved with you in the community. More importantly, as you meet your friends, we need you to introduce us to your friends. Rather than us walk up and be awkward, if you will let us know who your friends are and where they attend church, or if they don't, that's very important. If you know they don't attend church, let me know that. And then I can handle that in a special and dignified way, pastorally, just to reach out to them. Carol Ann and I want to thank you for the parsonage. One thing that we easily pick up on is that you have updated that parsonage. You've made it as modern as any home can be, with good flooring, with wonderful appliances, and taking care of flower beds. You've done a wonderful job on that. And what we read into that is that you take care of your pastor. See, we can read something into that. It's not an investment. It is an investment in your pastor and the pastor's family. And for that, we're grateful. Carol Ann and I, throughout our career, have bought and sold homes. And we know about the expense that it takes to have a home. And we appreciate your investment in your pastor's family. Not just Carol Ann and I, but your previous pastors as well. We thank you for taking care of them. We will treat the parsonage as if it is our own, but we will remember that it belongs to you. Did y'all think this was my daughter right here? I did not rob the cradle, but I did kick beyond my coverage. I admit that. This is my college sweetheart, Carol Ann. I'll let her introduce our boys and herself.
Well, I'm Carol Ann, and we have been married about 36 years. We met in college, and he was already an officer in the military at that time. I was pursuing a career to do big things and go places, and he had come back from the military and just kind of caught my heart. So there we went. After we graduated, we married, and we've actually had 5 kids. 2 of them died in labor, so it took us a while to get our kids here on earth. John Mark was born in 1985, and then Chandler and Parker were not born until 94, 96. So our baby is 22 years old. He's getting a master's at Ole Miss, and just started this year on that, and is teaching at Holly Springs right now, and will be at Clarksdale for the next 2 years. Chandler is at Delta State University and getting a degree in nursing, and he is also youth minister at St. Paul's First United Methodist Church with your old pastor. Yeah. And is preaching at Friar Point, so he is very busy. John Mark is our oldest. He's 33, and he lives in Colwyn, North Carolina, and he's a professor at Western Carolina University. So hopefully, as time goes by, you'll get to meet these guys, and they'll come home, and they'll be here on Sunday, but it may take a long time to get them all here. None of them are married, but it's okay. God has a plan somewhere. Hopefully, one day. They've all pursued careers in education, so that's kind of in their focus. One thing I will say to you as a church, and I don't want to put any other church down, but I do want to raise you guys up. Thank you. Of all the places that we have been, I have never seen the hands and feet of Christ the way you guys have presented it. And the love that has been poured out. And I realize that some of you guys, we're just meeting today, and please do not feel any guilt if you have not been by the house. That is fine, because all the others, they do real well. But our refrigerator has been filled very nicely, and even our freezer. And just, I don't know, so many hugs, so many what do you need, being there, working on things. We have some electrical issues. Poor Bob, God bless him. He was there day after day. I just can't say enough. Thank you, appreciation, because honestly, it ministered to me. And I know you guys might think, oh, well, here comes the preacher, and they're supposed to come minister to us and meet our needs. But you guys, y'all reached out to us. And doing that, it does something. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate that. I want to say one scripture, and I'll tell you a little something, and then I'm done. In Psalms 46, he talks about that he breaks the bow, and he snaps the spear, and he burns the shield of fire. He says, be still and know that I am God, for I will be honored in all the nations, and I will be honored in all of the earth. And he says, because I am the Lord, the God of Jacob. Praise be unto the Lord. Shalom. And I'm telling you, that is the God we serve. He does break the bow. And we were talking about that in Sunday school today. We are against some perilous times because of where we are in the history of end times. But God is the God who breaks the bow and snaps the spear and burns the shield of fire. There is no enemy that he is not already defeated. He tells us in Amos that has he not roared like a lion in his den when he has already caught his prey? He already knows these enemies that try to come against the church. But we are a church triumphant because of who our God is. And so we really have a vision for this church. We hope that we will grow. The ones that are sitting in these pews right now, we're going to all grow together in Christ and mature in the depth of his word. But we're going to also, if God wills, that our community grows and that these pews are filled and there are no spaces. Because he's worthy of praise. And fellowship, it says, make joyful noise unto the Lord. And we don't want to forsake the worshiping and coming together of that. And the last thing I want to tell you is that this week I was struggling with some things. And we all do. I don't care who you are, even Elijah, Ezekiel, Moses, they all, at times they struggled. But that scripture, how many times Paul would quote back and say scriptures to get through, some struggles where Satan, even Jesus, when he went out and was tempted, he gave him those moments where he could just quote back scripture and Satan would flee from him. But this song kept ringing in my head. If you haven't ever heard it, you probably have. It's called The King of My Heart. And in those words, he says, King of my heart. Rescue me. Rescue me. That's what I just want to share with you guys. We've got a King that lives in our heart, that rescues us, that delivers us, and that carries us through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I just want to thank y'all. I just want to show, just tell you how much I love you and how excited we are about getting started together as a family.
Okay, Richard, you can sit down now.
The last thing I'll say, and I'll sit down, we'll have our call to worship, is that in the years to come, when my time is done, I hope you whisper in my ear. He taught us God's word because he studied God's word. That's what I want to do.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. What a beautiful opening to a service. Emily and I have been wanting to lead a song in worship for a little while, and so we are going to project the words on the screen. We're going to invite you to sing along with us, but we're going to say, Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. And indeed, I think we can sense him already. Amen. He has gone before us, and he is here. And so join us this morning as we welcome his Spirit.
to pray together. Father, I lift up all those ministers today who are transitioning, who have agreed to move and serve you in a new charge and a new work. I lift up those that remain in place and continue the work that they've begun. Father, as the congregations meet you pastors today, be with them. Let us work together, Father, to sow the fields in which we live. Help us to share the love of Jesus Christ with others. In your Son's name I pray. Amen. Would you look in your hymnal, please? Our opening hymn, Praise the Lord Almighty, page number 139 in your United Methodist hymnal. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 4, and 5. Let's say together our affirmation of faith, the Apostles' Creed, found on page 881. I believe in God the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord, who was conceived by the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, dead, and buried. The third day he rose from the dead. He ascended into heaven, and sitteth at the right hand of God the Father Almighty. From thence he shall come to judge the quick and the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Holy Catholic Church, the communion of saints, the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and the life everlasting. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Ghost, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. Would you refer to your prayer list, your bulletin? Would you share with us updates and concerns this morning, please?
Well, we have a prayer
Philip Jackson had his MRI last week, and his tumor is shrinking, so thank you for prayers.
The transplant for Brian Page will be meeting Tuesday night, and they asked that we have some way for that.
Sandy McHugh family.
One thing I would add, I would rather have 15 phone calls about one person going into the hospital than not one phone call about someone going into the hospital. I'm not omniscient, that's God. I don't know all these things, so it's especially in these early days, if someone goes into the hospital or sick, if you would just give me a call, let me know. Don't worry that someone else is called, that's fine. Please let me know when people of our church need action. Any others? Okay. Would you look please in your hymnal, page number 144. We'll sing together, "This is my Father's Will." Father, thank you for the tithes and offerings. Come from the hearts of your people first, then your pockets. Thank you for the ministry funds and performers as we share the love of Jesus Christ through the ministry actions of Belmont United Methodist Church. We unite here, Father, stand against all that stands against the church. In Jesus' name I pray. come down for our children's sermon. Children's moment. We have that today?
We do.
We do, we got it.
We do. Come here and sit by Miss Caroline. Go. Right. That is coming on up. How are y'all today? Happy official summertime. It's gonna go by quick day. Won't it? You've been through that before. You're just learning it. You'll be in big school before you know it, won't you? Not long away. Oh, did Mom have a good birthday? She did. Good. Beckham's not here today with us. I think they're back at the beach, right? You notice anything different about today? Of course you do, don't you? Brother Mark and Miss Carol Ann have joined us today as our new pastor family. Today, what we hope is a long ministry with us. And Brother Kevin and Miss Betty Jane have begun their ministry at their new appointment. I'm sure their churches are excited about that too. When I was a little girl, a long time ago, my mother, who had no shortage of lines or words or phrases to fit various situations, and still does it at the age of 89, she would often say, the more things change, the more they stay the same. The more things change, the more they stay the same. That was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard in my life. Think about it. How can things change but still stay the same? Right? It makes no sense. Think about a butterfly, for example. It changes. First, it starts out as what? A caterpillar. And it goes through these changes, and it suddenly becomes a big, beautiful what? A butterfly. I mean, it totally changed. It's not the same at all. Or is it? Now that's saying the more things change, the more they stay the same, was first uttered by this French man after this big war in France. It's the country with that really pretty Eiffel Tower. And it basically means that while a lot of big changes appear to be happening, the real truth is nothing has changed at all. And that's the same for us. For example, teenage girls still love to spend a lot of time on the phone. Even when I was a teenager, I was glued to that black telephone, hooked onto that wall by a cord. Now, teenage girls may have phones that they can hold in their hand and have these touch screens, and they might not be even talking at all. They may be texting. But it's still teenage girls using a phone, isn't it? It's still the same. Maybe a little different. Kids still don't like homework, do they? I didn't like it either. That's still the same. Homework may be a little different, but it's still the same. Adley, you like to dance, don't you? I thought so. I used to like to dance when I was a kid. Now, we may not be doing the same dances like I used to do this dance called the bump, where you bump people. That was kind of fun. But I've seen you do the disco thing, and I used to do that when I was a kid. We're still the same. The overall picture is still the same. Now, Brother Mark may not be like Brother Kevin. He may not sound like him. He may not look like him. He has more hair than he did. But the overall picture is still the same. He will lead us. He will worship with us. And he will love us, just like Brother Kevin did. And something else is the same too. You two, we're the church. We're the church. We're all the church. And we are still the same. Right? And back to that butterfly. It may have have a new body, and it may even now have wings. It can fly. Still an insect, just like it used to be. It's still an insect. And we're still the church, and we are the same, just like Jesus, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And isn't that wonderful? Great.
Come here.
I get one of those every.
I just told them to go up there and give you one.
I didn't think so. That's all right. You gotta love first Sundays in a new church. That's a new learning experience. But that was. Our text this morning is Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. The Word of God to the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
I was a bit nervous about the sermon this morning. You only have one chance to impress. You only have one chance to make a good impression in your first sermon. So being nervous about this, I called our district superintendent, Reagan Muskelly. She has her doctorate from Duke University and combines both a good practical look at life but a good intellectual look. So I called her and said, Dr. Muskelly, I really need some help on this first sermon. Can you kind of help me? I need a sermon that's going to really impress Belmont United Methodist Church. I want to be impressive. She said, well, Mark, I've known you for a while, and if you can pull this off, I think you'll have an impressive sermon. If you can pull this off, it'll be good. I said, what's that? She said, well, first of all, you need to see if you can use big words. All right. She said, Mark, why don't you preach on the doctrine of soteriology? I said, okay. She said, begin with Scripture. Start with Scripture. And then as you begin to move through the sermon narrative, weave into the biblical record the early church fathers. Bring in Eusebius, bring in Irenaeus, bring in Cyril of Alexandria, as they begin to lay the foundations for the doctrine of soteriology. And then as you move through time, be sure you go through the reformers, Zwingli, Huss, and Calvin, and Luther. And then springboard to John Wesley, as he laid the foundations for how we as United Methodists understand the doctrine of soteriology. And I thought, man, that will just knock their socks off. Thank you so much. And I hung the phone up. And then I realized, I didn't know what soteriology meant. It's the doctrine of salvation. God is complicated. God is complicated. Men and women with PhDs in academic settings, men and women of the laity with hearts aflame for their Lord have written and expounded Jesus. And as even John said, I suppose that if the works of Jesus were all written down, all the books of the world wouldn't contain them. God is complicated. And yet, God is so simple that Gray and Hadley can understand. And if you'll close down the noise here, you'll hear the echoes of the song sung in the past by little children. Jesus loves me. This I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to Him belong. They are weak, but He is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. It's so simple. God has boiled down the mystery. So simple. In the beginning, God. Dr. Herschel Hobbs, in the middle of the last century, said And if a person can just believe the first 4 words of the Bible, the rest is easy. In the beginning, God. This morning, a unique message. One that does not take the Bible and deliver it to you in an expository manner, but one in which we take the text and look at it from man's perspective. Forgive me that trait this morning. But as you look at the first 4 words of the Bible, in the beginning God, there are 2 things you can see. There are 2 views of those first 4 words of the Bible. The first view that men and women have is that there are some see difficulty with those words. There are some men and women that see difficulty with the first 4 words of the Bible. In the beginning, God. You see, when you mention God today, you bring the supernatural into the natural world. You bring the supernatural realm into the physical realm, and there are some people who push back against the supernatural. Our modern world today, with all the benefits of modernity, such as science, such as medicine, such as technologies, as the phone Peggy mentioned, all of the wonderful things we have in the modern age were born out of the age of enlightenment. And in that age of enlightenment that occurred in the Middle Ages, something came out of that was birthed, and it was called skepticism. Skepticism was born out of the Enlightenment. Skepticism drew largely from science. When the church said the world is flat, science said you're wrong. When the church said that the universe is centered around the sun, science proved it wrong. When the church said the sun rises in the east, science says no, the earth is revolving, causing it to rise in the east. So skepticism grew out of the Enlightenment, and there was pushback against the supernatural. The scientist community of that age spread into literature, spread into politics, and as skepticism grew, there were those who said, church, if you're wrong on these things that have been proven wrong by science, then are you right on the supernatural? Is there a God? Is there a Jesus? Is there a need for salvation? And your moral views on life, there was a pushback on it. And that pushback became a difficulty for some people. There are some people that see difficulty in the first 4 words of the Bible. Now, these people are called atheists. We can call them atheists. Yes, there's agnostics, but we can call them atheists. And I want you to see first, as those that have difficulty with the first 4 words of the Bible, that the first group of people are professional atheists. They're professional atheists. As you outline the message this morning, there are those that see difficulty with the first 4 words, and the first group of these people are professional atheists. A professional atheist does not in any way, shape, form, or fashion believe in the supernatural. They are put, and in their minds, they are locked in the physical realm. If you can't see it, if you can't measure it in a test tube, if you can't add it up in a physics calculation, it can't be real. There is only the natural realm. There are the professional atheists. Some of them are militant in their atheism, and some are sedate in their atheism. But they are professional atheists, and they will not ever believe in the first 4 words of the Bible. There are very few of them. And there are very few of them around us. But there's a second group of people that we need to be concerned about. That's not the professional atheist as much as the practical atheist. The practical atheists are where my heart is drawn. The practical atheist is someone who doesn't live far, far away that we don't know. They live down the street from you. They shop in Piggly Wiggly with you. There are people who live in the large homes in the community, and they live in the smallest homes in the community. There are people who run banks and industries, and there are people like that who work on assembly lines. There is not one shred of evidence in their life that they have any spirituality whatsoever. I would challenge you next week to go find it. What I would wish we would do is gather together at 11 o'clock next week and agree. We'll have an opening song, we'll have an opening prayer, and then we'll dismiss, and we'll go out in the community, near where you live. Knock on people's doors. Just knock on the door. They'll come to the door at 11:30 when they're not in church. They should be in church. They're not in church. When they open their door, introduce yourself to them, and then ask them, I just wanted to know, do you believe in God? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe in God. But there's not one shred of evidence in their life to prove they believe in God. If you would take them to court, there would be no evidence to convict them of being a Christian. You see, they are practical atheists. There's the professional atheist, and there's the practical atheist. In the beginning, God. There are those that see difficulty with those words. The professional atheist has a problem in admitting that there is a supernatural realm outside of the physical realm, and the center of that supernatural realm is God, and He is the starting point, the originating point for all this. And then there's your practical atheist. The practical atheist has a problem with bending his or her life to the book you hold in your hand called the Bible. They will not submit, they will not yield, they will not humble themselves to God's leading. There are those that see difficulty with the first 4 words of the Bible. And then there are those that see diversity in the Bible. There are those that see difficulty and those that see diversity in the Bible. Those that see difficulty in the Bible do not believe in God. They say they do, but they don't believe in it. The second group of people are those that see diversity in the Bible, and they're Christians. They're believers, like you and I. Yet they see a great deal of diversity in the Bible. Diversity such as this. Did God create the world in 6 24-hour periods? Or did God create the world through the process of evolution? Hold your hats. There are Christians who believe both viewpoints. I'm over here, some over here. There are a great many people that see diversity in the first 4 words of the Bible. In the beginning, God. We call this diversity denominations. There are denominations built around the diversity in man looking at God. There are some denominations that believe that your salvation is that of the elect only. God has elected some to salvation and has elected some to damnation. They're called Presbyterians. There are those Methodists like ourselves who approach salvation from the Arminian perspective. We believe in the free will of man. We believe that it is your responsibility to respond to God's call on your life, a completely different viewpoint. There are those who come to the Bible and say that a preacher can't be divorced. There are some who say a preacher can't be divorced. There are some who say a preacher can't be a woman. There are some who say a preacher can only be a man. There's great diversity in the biblical record when you come to the first 4 words of the Bible, in the beginning of God. Now let me just clarify one. I don't mind diversity, personally. I don't mind that my Presbyterian friends view salvation differently than I do, as long as we get to salvation. Correct? Got to get to salvation. The problem I have is when someone violates the book with their diversity. There are some today who say, there's no hell. God is love. There is no hell. There's nothing at stake. There's no eternal damnation. You're going against what the book says. When you go against what the book says, I don't call that diversity. That's not what I'm speaking. I want to conclude the message. I want to draw it to a conclusion and explain this. In the beginning, God. First 4 words of the Bible. There are some who see difficulty with it. There are some who see adversity with it. As I begin my time with you here, I want to explore for the next 7 to 8 weeks in the beginning, God. Next week, I want to look at in the beginning, God created. But before we can get to where God created, we've got to understand God. So we're going to launch into a series within a series on the Trinity. I want to look at Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And I hope that when we finish that series, you have more questions about God than you have answers. Because we can never fully answer God. Correct, can we? We can't. Over the next few weeks, I want to look at God. And I want to look at what God created. I want to look at the creation, the corruption, and the correction that God has provided. And then what are we going to do about it? And then I have a plan to move into brand loyalty. What are we as Methodists? Why are we Methodists? What do we believe as Methodists? What about us makes us Methodists versus being a Baptist, a Church of Christ, or being a Presbyterian? Why are we different? How do we worship differently? I want to establish those components of our faith. As we move forward together, let's just begin with the simple. Before we ever get to the complex, let's just look at the simple. In the beginning, God. Let's have a word of prayer as our accompaniments make their way forward while I do this. Father, Carolyn and I thank you for your appointment here at Belmont. Father, we thank you for our time here already. I ask you to be with this congregation today as they attend to the youth and the young, pouring themselves into the youth. Be with this church, Father, as we continue to reach out into the community. Help me to assimilate quickly, positively into this church. Carolyn's way. In Christ's name I pray. Would you stand, please, as we have our hymn of invitation? Hymn number 451. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you. May he smile goodness and life into the darkness of this world through the conduct of your life. Amen.